And welcome back to another plugin versus hardware. I've been waiting a long time to do this particular episode because we are going to do my favorite piece of gear in the studio. You guessed it, the Neve 1073.
Yay!
Before we head into this video, I would really appreciate it if you leave a like, comment down below what you like to use the 1073 on, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. In the racks behind me, you can see two modules of the iconic Neve 1073 by AMS Neve. These units house a mic preamp, a line preamp, and a 3-band EQ, and they have been used on countless records from the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Nirvana, Drake, Travis Scott. A lot of artists out there rely on the 1073 for their sound. As you may know, there are a lot of versions to the AMS Neve, and there are a lot of clones to the actual Neve 1073, but I chose to stay true to my units, the models that I know best, and go with these AMS Neve modules. And unlike the newer reissues by AMS Neve, like the SPX, the DPX, the OPX, the whatever PX, these units are actually hand wired, which makes them a little bit more desirable. The Neve 1073 is famous for its Marinair transformers. Now, back in the day with the vintage Neve, you had the actual vintage Marinair transformers made by Marinair themselves, and there is some kind of mystique around that should be the holy grail of transformers. Nowadays, Neve makes those in-house. They say they have all the specs and knowledge to create exact replicas of the original Marinair transformers. Okay, enough about what's inside. I think we need to take a closer look at all the features and the buttons and what it can and cannot do. Alright, let's have a look at the faceplate. We've got a mic and line input on here, so we've got a switch that does mic and line gain. We've got 80 dB of gain on the mic preamp. Most preamps go to around 60, but with the Neve 1073 you get 20 more. And then when you go to the other side over here, you get 20 dB of gain on the line input. If we start from the top, we've got a high shelf that is 16 dB up and down on 12 kilohertz. Then underneath that, we've got a mid-band, and with this switch you can select your frequencies and you can boost and cut by 18 dB. Then we've got the low shelf, which has 4 frequencies to select from. That is 35, 60, 110, and 220, and that has a boost and attenuation of 16 dB. Of course, you also need a high-pass filter, so we've got 50 Hz, 80 Hz, 160 Hz, and 300 Hz. Underneath that, there is an EQ switch, which switches in and out the EQ, and we've got a phase switch, which is a polarity switch to flip the phase on your signal. Then on the back, you've got this strip, which is all the inputs and outputs that they used back in the day in the consoles to slide it in, slide it out, which makes it super easy to take these on the go and just have them wherever you want to go. Next to that multi-connector, we've got a switch that says low and high, and that switches the input impedance between 300 or 1200. I've set it to 300 because I like that better. The plugin we will be comparing the 1073 Classic modules to today is the Lindell 80 series channel strip. This is a plugin from the Plugin Alliance bundle, and you should have a look on their website because it's not too expensive to get a subscription there. If we take a look at this plugin, we can see that the input stage here with the mic and line input actually has the same red button as on the hardware unit. We also have a line gain on one side and a mic gain on the other side, but unlike something like a Universal Audio Unison plugin, this is not a microphone preamp, so you can actually drive this preamp up to 80 dB. And the other plus 10 under here is actually just 10 dB of attenuation. And we've got a unity switch, which is basically automatic gain staging, because if you press that and you push up the input gain, it automatically adjusts the output gain to stay equal level. So let's take a sneak peek and see how that works. So first, without the unity engaged, So you notice that it becomes louder. Now when I engage the unity and do the same, you can actually hear that we can push it pretty hard without actually getting any extra level. And next to that, we've got the EQ section, which is exactly the same as the one on the classic module behind me, except for this one switch, the 84 switch, that switches the EQ section from a 1073 to a 1084. And with that switch engaged, you see that we get a couple of high shelf frequencies to choose from. 10, 12, and 16 kilohertz. We get a high Q switch on the midband, and there are a couple of additional low pass filters. Next to that, we've got a compressor section and a gate section, which I will not cover today because they are not on the module. So I will disengage those so we won't get any coloration or processing from that side. The converters we are using are the Army ADI2 Pro FS, because they are the best converters I've got. This comparison will be a blind test, so I will not be revealing which is the plugin and which is the hardware. You can see me switch between A and B over here. One will be the hardware, one will be the plugin. And if you want to know which is which, head over to my Discord to find out. I will leave the link in bio, and once you're there, go to the blind test reveal channel to find out which is the Lindell plugin and which is the actual Neve 1073. The first files that we are going to use for the comparison between the Lindell plugin and the AMS Neve 1073 is going to be the drums and the bass of a track called Kerstmis Baby by Linde Schöne and Alain Clark. I will be doing a mix breakdown on this track later on, so if you don't want to miss out, head over to my Discord to make sure that you know when that drops. The first thing I want to do is check what the plugin and the hardware do when there's no processing engaged. So we leave the input gain on 0, we leave the EQ disengaged, and we are just going to see what it does when it runs through the plugin and through the hardware circuit over there. Okay, so that was our baseline test. Now let's see what happens when we actually process the bass and the drums. So here's the hardware and the plugin. Alright, that was a good comparison, but I love the 1073 for its overdrive. So let's definitely bump up the gain and let's see what that does to the bass. Right, that was the bass on overdrive. Let me know down in the comments if you think that was a big difference or that you could go for either the plugin or the hardware. Then let's move to the next file. This is a file you might know from previous plugin versus hardware videos. It is the guitar from the track Temporary by my guy Vince the Vogel. He is coming out with a new album later this year. There will be a mix breakdown on that, so make sure you head over to the Discord to not miss out on that either. Alright, then it is time for the last file already. This is a vocal track from the track Steady Ease, produced by Ginton, and the artist is Mr. Koba Brown. So let's compare the plugin versus hardware.
Steady ease and settle slow. Steady ease and settle slow. Baby, this is real life, no metronome. Baby, this is life, no metronome. Steady ease and settle slow. Steady ease and settle slow. Baby, this is real life, no metronome. Baby, this is life, no metronome.
That was it for all the comparisons. As I mentioned earlier, all the comparisons were blind tests, so you saw me switch between A and B. And if you want to find out which is A and which is B on which file, head over to my Discord. The link will be down in the description below, and there you will find the blind test reveal channel, and there I will post the reveal of which is the plugin and which is the hardware. For now, that's it for this video. Please leave a like, comment down below which one you think is the plugin and which one you think is the hardware, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more plugin versus hardware videos and other stuff I do. I'll see you on the next one. Later.